A major update in a case we've been following. A grand jury chose not to indict the father accused of shooting two people at Kentucky State University and killing one of them. Thanks for joining us here at 5. I'm Connie Leonard. Jacob Lee Bard claims self-defense. Bard is currently out of the Franklin County Jail as his family had just posted a $100,000 bond right before the grand jury met. But his attorneys now say the case is over. The grand jury met earlier today in Frankfort when they chose not to indict Bard on murder charges or first-degree assault charges. In a press release, Bard's attorneys argue he acted in self-defense following days of escalating threats and violence directed at his son and other students. His attorney says despite the presence of armed campus police officers, a group of 20 to 30 people allegedly gathered inside the dorm lobby, attacking Bard's family when they entered the building. Attorneys allege during that confrontation, Bard's son was knocked to the ground and beaten by multiple people, prompting Bard to fire his weapon. The shooting resulted in the death of one student, 19-year-old Dejon Fox, and critical injuries to at least one other student. Again, his attorneys say the decision closes this criminal case. Also here at 5 o'clock, he's running for re-election and has high hopes to put another huge hotel in the heart of downtown Louisville. Mayor Craig Greenberg sat down with us for a wide-ranging interview to close out 2025. We talked about affordability, housing, and of course, the future of the Humana building. Here's Isaiah Kim Martinez.
Downtown Louisville needs a new massive hotel right by the International Convention Center.
One more large convention hotel would be incredibly helpful.
That's the belief of Mayor Craig Greenberg, finishing up his third full year in office.
It would help us open up a whole new opportunity of types of meetings and events that we can't currently get. We would help get them here in Louisville, and that's something that we've been working on for several years.
He's not denying the report from Louisville Business First that major real estate developer Poe Companies aims to transform the iconic 27-story Humana building into a 1,000-room hotel. Humana is selling the building, and it's expected to be vacant by the end of the year.
What kind of money would be needed to assist something like
that?
Well,
we're looking at several things for the next chapter of the Humana Tower. We're looking for what incentives the state can provide. Are there any federal incentives based on that project, and of course locally as well.
The mayor sat down with us for an interview to close 2025, a year in which he says homicides are down 21% and non-fatal shootings down 25%. He attributes some of this to what he calls a change in culture at LMPD, led by his hand-picked chief, Paul Humphrey.
When I first became mayor, 8 or 9 people were in a recruiting class. In the last recruiting class, 41 people started. That's great progress. We need more officers on the street.
Greenberg, who's up for re-election in 2026, says he's working to get help from Kentucky lawmakers next year to speed up the process of creating more housing within the city's urban core.
So we're looking at several things. Some are tax incentives, others might be loan funds, and some might just be simply improving the planning and zoning process so it's clearer and easier to build in certain parts of our city.
I asked about the financial crisis at JCPS and what he thinks should be done to fix it.
And my advice is to make the tough decisions now.
In an open records request to JCPS, we discovered 485 of the district's central office employees are making $100,000 or more. We're talking 6-figure salaries.
Are one of those decisions downsizing the central office to some degree?
I think that certainly should be at the top of the list for consideration.
And as he seeks a second term as mayor, Greenberg says his administration is putting a focus on bringing down the cost of living. 2 examples he mentioned: his request to remove Louisville's reformulated gas requirement and his push to lower utility rates.
When LG&E puts in certain rate requests, we've opposed several of those. We've provided looking for alternative, making it easier for more renewable sources of energy.
His campaign is sure to ramp up next year in what will be the Louisville Metro's first nonpartisan mayoral race.
And Isaiah joins us now. Isaiah, so a lot of people are interested in the Humana building as a hotel downtown. Yeah. Nothing's been signed, though, correct?
Nothing has been signed. It is not officially turning over, being converted yet. The verbiage that we've seen, again, Louisville Business First reporting that it is in the planning stages Of course, and the mayor pointed this out, there would need to be a lot of steps to happen. Of course, Humana still owns the building at this moment. There are still workers conceivably that still need to be vacated by the end of the year. And of course, this would be a huge financial undertaking. So you can imagine the mayor said there would need to be local, state, and federal help potentially to get this through to the finish line.
All right. We'll wait and see what happens in 2026.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Isaiah. All right, let's go over to Mallory to talk about this warm weather we're having right now, Mal.
Yeah, this warm stretch will continue onward throughout Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and into much of this upcoming weekend as well. We're starting off with a live look outside from our Hughes and Coleman camera over downtown Louisville. This is part of our Shriners Children's Camera Network. It's been overcast for much of the day, although we've tried to squeeze in a few peaks of sunshine here or there. And despite that widespread cloud cover, it has been mild. Temperatures are in the low to mid 60s all across Kentuckiana at this 5 o'clock hour. We're running 20 degrees above average, and we're also running 5 to 15 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. And it was already pretty mild yesterday, but you can tell we're not alone in this. Really, the entire region seeing that increase in the temperature today. Max HG radar, it has been mostly dry. We're still tracking maybe a little bit of moisture on the radar, especially along the parkways there. So we can't rule out some patchy drizzle or a very light shower as we continue onward throughout this evening. Best chance for that will be down to the south. But something you may notice, dew points have increased. So there is moisture in the air, even though it is not raining. We have dew points well into the 50s and 60s. So that's pretty muggy for this time of year. Your hourly planner here staying mild for the next few hours. We will eventually cool off into the 50s and the 40s overnight, and we will actually have a range of temperatures on the map overnight. Upper 30s up in Seymour to North Vernon, mid 50s down to the south, and Louisville, we're somewhere in between that with some patchy fog possible by early tomorrow morning. Now we'll talk, of course, much more about our Christmas Eve and Christmas Day forecasts. That's coming up in just a bit. Connie.
Thanks, Mallory. Well, we've got an update on a deadly shooting that happened over the weekend in the Southside neighborhood. Police have arrested a 15-year-old in connection to the shooting that killed 20-year-old Milton Ritchie. Ritchie shot outside of a vehicle in a ditch on Fort Haven Road Saturday afternoon. Now officials say late yesterday evening that LMPD's 3rd Division arrested a 15-year-old girl in connection to that murder. Police say she's being charged with murder and robbery. As of right now, we have no additional information. Milton worked as a staff member for the Louisville Dirt Bowl basketball tournament, and we spoke with co-organizer Rayvon Churchill, hearing how the shooting and the loss of Milton is impacting him.
He would just call me in the middle of the week like, man, thank you for letting me be a part of the Dirt Bowl. He was like my nerd. I would call him and be like, can you do this technical stuff that I don't know how to do? And he would, yeah, I got you, Rayvon. And, you know, a couple hours later, it would be there. And just the smile, you know, like we tease each other about our glasses, about wearing glasses a lot. So, you know, like to lose him, you know, like before he even got a chance to really start, you know, that was heartbreaking.
And we'll continue to follow this story tonight on the night team. Our Jose Alonso will have the details at 11. Homicides, shootings, and carjackings. LMPD says all those crime numbers are down compared to last year. LMPD held their final news conference of the year, which included more details about a shooting on Bardstown Road last week. Now, early Friday morning, while LMPD officers were conducting a traffic stop, a driver in a Tahoe pulled up and said a man in an SUV had just shot at him. Well, LMPD says the driver of the SUV, later identified as Winthrop Taylor, pulled up and started firing gunshots at officers and the Tahoe. Deputy Chief Emily McKinley says an officer returned fire and Taylor took off. According to LMPD, Taylor later carjacked a different vehicle and eventually crashed. Afterward, Taylor ran and hid in a crawl space of an apartment building. Police then sent a canine to respond and say that Taylor injured the canine, Enyo, by throwing bricks and even cut the water line, filling the space with water.
You know, she is a true hero here. She crawled into that crawl space. It was dark. She was assaulted by bricks. She was nearly drowned, and she was still able to make that apprehension and stay in the game.
Taylor was arrested and now faces several charges, including attempted murder of a police officer. Right now, LMPD says it's unclear who fired the bullets that hit the victim in the Tahoe, but they were shot twice in the arm. Body cam footage is expected to be released at the beginning of next month. Today, Clarksville police swap traffic tickets for gift cards. The goal, to give back to the community this holiday season. WHAS11's Alexander Goldberg and photojournalist Jessica Farley follow behind the officers, just trying to spread a little Christmas cheer.
The reason I stopped you was you're just a little bit over on the speed limit today.
The last thing anyone wants around the holidays is a ticket, but we're following around Clarksville police today who are handing out something a little bit different.
At first, it was a routine traffic stop for an obstructed view. Clarksville police officers Chris Bartley and Stephen Schnell get the typical details: name, birthday, driver's license.
How's your Christmas going?
This time, they pick up on something deeper.
Almost done.
Stocking stuffers for all my kids.
2 kids?
Oh, no, I have 6.
6 kids?
They run her information
I'll be right back with you, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
and return with something pretty unexpected.
And today we're going to issue a gift card. And we want you to get those stocking stuffers and take care of those kids.
$100 to Walmart.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
I was just telling her I didn't have any money hardly left.
That's one of the many gift cards donated by businesses in the area for this mission.
Not every traffic stop that we get to make, the driver expresses how they feel or the way they struggle in life. Instead of me giving out citations today, I'm going to give you a gift card today for those oysters that you just took out and shopped for.
I was like, what did I do?
Officers say Julie Duzick made a right-hand turn without moving all the way over.
I'm one who always gives back, so I'm not typically one who receives.
She was also met with the holiday surprise.
People don't realize how much the police or the sheriff's departments, do for the community outside of their regular job.
In another stop,
And today, instead of me giving out citations, I'm giving you a gift card. Okay?
officers were met with tears.
I'll give you a hug.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas, young lady.
The officers doing what they do every day, today with a little bit of Christmas cheer. In Clarksville, Alexander Goldberg, WHAS 11, on your side.
Pretty awesome stuff there. Clarksville police say they thank nearby businesses for their donations, making this holiday surprise possible. While honoring a Louisville government icon, today Jefferson County Clerk David Yates unveiled a new portrait paying tribute to the late Jefferson County Clerk Bobbie Holsclaw. The portrait now hangs in Metro Hall with a plaque commemorating Holsclaw's life and service to her community displayed beside it. Yates also dedicated a hallway at Metro Hall to Holsclaw, renaming it Bobbie Holsclaw Hall. During today's unveiling, Yates spoke on her time in office and her dedication to providing quality service to Jefferson County citizens.
Clerk Holsclaw believed everyone at the clerk's office should have VIP service. Everybody familiar with that slogan, the VIP service? That's right. It showed that she was dedicated, giving kindness, but making sure that and we call them customers, right? That every person that came through there knew they were valued and seen.
Holsclaw passed away back in September of this year after serving Jefferson County for over 2 decades. Yates was sworn in as the new county clerk in October.